In this video, if you look behind me, you can see what we're doing. We are putting the aluminum exterior on the trailer, and we're pretty excited about it. So enjoy the video. So my metal was all rolled and cut for this trailer and took a road trip. It took a pretty long day to make a round trip to go get that, but it's all crated up. Now it's time to start putting metal on the trailer. Now it's really going to look like we're making progress. First piece. So we're started. Got the front metal on, and the roof goes on last. I'm putting the back on next, and then we'll put on the sides. So it's a good start. She's looking good. So I probably mentioned before that I should take lots of measurements and drawings. So here's the measurements and drawings from when I ordered the aluminum. There's the order form. There's the invoice. So from the order form, it was pretty easy to tell where each piece of metal went. So I marked on the sides there, or on the margin here, where each piece is allocated to. So then when I got the invoice, it's got all the pieces listed, and I just transferred that information from the order form to the invoice, because this is the actual sizes. All the metal is a little oversized, so I've got to cut it down. I left myself a little bit of margin, and then the people that made the metal, National RV Siding, they made it a little bigger as well. So I've got to trim all or most of the pieces. But this tells me which ones go where. So it makes my job a lot easier and less chances of making mistakes. Working on the back wall. This is the bottom piece. So this is the little lip that goes underneath towards the floor, the bottom of the wall. Got holes cut for taillight wires, license plate wires, other taillight wires, and a little notch for where the wiring comes from the floor and up the back wall. So that's going on next, and once we got that done, it is sidewalls. I didn't video all the details, but I'll explain what we did. We've got all the siding on. So we did front and back first. We did the road side, and so still, as you can see, it looks like a cargo trailer right now. We've got to cut out all the windows and everything, and that's what these pieces of tape are right here. For instance, the water fill is, there's the vertical lines, and it is starting at 2 3/4 inches below. There's the cable hatch. So the bottom is 5 inches down from this line, and the top is 2 inches down from this line. And I've also marked that it's a round hole. Water heater, the bottom's 15.5 inches down, the top's 2 inches down. Yeah, I know that's backwards. Pre-drilled the holes for the clearance lights and the tail lights, like I showed you before. More clearance lights. And then, for instance, on this electrical outlet, I pre-cut that because to cut a hole out, you got to start by drilling a hole, and there's just nowhere to drill a hole there. I had originally marked it out, and then I started measuring it, and that's what all the extra numbers are. Fridge vent and the furnace vent. I marked it on here and drilled a starter hole on it, just because I was already doing this one. And we've got a seam in here because you got a great big hole in the side of your trailer, and you lose a lot of strength there. So that will give it a flex point. And if you remember in previous videos, I really did a reinforcing job on the header above the door because there was cracking on that door previously. So I basically moved the weak point down to there. For those that are not familiar with aluminum siding on trailers and how it installs, so you can see that gap, and then this sheet slides up in here. So you start on the top sheet and you get it in place, staple along here, slide the next sheet up, and then staple along here again. I was going to show you here, but this is the bottom. It wraps around and then we attach to the bottom of the trailer. So yeah, you start with the top sheet. So when you're putting the top sheet on, you want to be really careful that it's on straight and level and everything. So what I did is I leveled the trailer, put a level on the floor of the trailer, and so I knew that was level. That was my baseline. And then because this has got an arched roof that comes down like this and like this at the highest point on the trailer, that's where I decided I was going to use my reference point. So I measured down where I wanted the bottom of aluminum, and then I used the level and went across and made marks. So where I knew where to put the aluminum. After that, you're just shoving one sheet into the next sheet. So that's that. One little thing, I figured I'd save a bunch of time. Went and bought some electric shears. Of course, I didn't buy expensive ones, and that's the kind of work it does. So I went back to using hand shears that gives you that nice straight line with no ripples on it. Yeah, I showed them before. I can't see them right now. They're around here somewhere. The pair I bought at the garage sale, or some garage sale. That's where they came from. And this is this is the crate that the slide metal came from. And there was a bit more square crate for the end metal. And then all this metal here, I'll cut it to the shape of the trailer all along here, especially at the tops. And then I can put the roof on. So the roof's gonna come down to here, and similar place at the back. And then what you do with the roof is you can just take a little bit of it and wrap it around the corner, especially on the top, because gravity and then water goes down, helps protect it from any leaks. So between the wrap and the caulking and the way we're installing the metal, it's a lot less chance of this trailer leaking than previous. So that's where we're at right now. We will continue. We'll start cutting. Trailer's starting to take shape. I'm trimming the aluminum on the sides. So what I've done here is I've got a little overlap. So this will bend over. The molding will cover that. Just adds for another layer of sealing. I didn't do it here because the roof is gonna, the roof's gonna come like this and around, because this is, there, that's the roof starting there. So the roof is gonna come here and then bend over. And yeah, that's all done with hand shears. That's a little work. But I bought some electric shears. Yeah, they weren't the most expensive ones, but they make a ripply mess, and they're no faster than hand shears. So between the mess and no faster, what's the point? It's starting to look good. Really hard to get this tin snips in here. It's much easier to work from this side. So in a perfect world, I could just snip along here and I'd run my snips along the edge of the trailer, but they're not very thick and it's easy to make a mistake. So what I did is I made this fine piece of engineering. Slides over top. Slide it along, put my pencil on the bottom. Now I got a line. That's gonna save me a bunch of measuring and guessing and looking and stopping and everything else. Just got fancy with my rig. If I want a little flange I can bend over, I drill the hole in here, I put the pencil in, and now I can draw a line up from the edge. I'm cutting out the water heater and the cable hatch. So what I did is as I showed before, I had marked where they were on the tape, and then I just went a little below the corner. I drilled a round hole and then started cutting with the tin snips. And I'm working my way. And then this is the cable hatch beside. So there's a round hole through the wall with the cable hatch. I just took the hole saw from the inside and used the hole saw itself, to center where the drill bit was going to come through, and then I stopped as soon as just the center drill went through. And that'll give me a mark, and I'll drill this way. That way any roughness will be protruding towards the inside of the trailer rather than the out, and just make everything fit a little nicer in there. I'm putting butyl tape on the water heater door, and I'm using butyl tape because, watch it, you can see how much it stretches, whereas, and it's just got a longer life than what I call putty tape. A lot of places call the other stuff with the white crinkly paper butyl tape as well, but it's the ratios of how much butyl and putty is in there, and this is much stickier, longer life. The only problem is it doesn't squish out as well as putty tape. But because this pattern is fairly flat and doesn't have a lot of ridges like the trailer is built in, say, the 70s or even newer, from the 70s on, we'll say, they've got more ridges, so that squishing feature of the putty tape does give it an advantage in that way. So if I had higher, deeper ridges, I'd probably be using putty tape. And on the water heater door, because it's got this ridge here, with one layer, it would hardly be touching the aluminum skin. So I'm putting a double layer on this. On most things on the exterior, I just put a single layer. Water heater door is cut out. And there's the flange. And I need two hands, so this is all. And the water heater door is installed. Oh, by the way, I spent a couple extra bucks and bought the flush mount water heater door. It just looks a lot nicer. There we go. Water heater and cable hatch are installed. That's why I use pencil, because you just take a wet finger. Well, maybe something better than that. Anyways, pencil comes off, pen doesn't. So, on to the next exterior attachments. Water connections, clearance lights. Oh yeah, those clearance lights. I ordered those out of the States, bringing them into Canada between the ridiculous price for an authentic this style of light, which you can't buy anywhere, and freight, and getting it across the border and paying FedEx a ridiculous brokerage charge, even though it's made in the US and it doesn't have duty on it, but they got you, so they charge you. And yeah, it was a ridiculous price, those lights, but they're gonna look nice. Got a few more things put on the outside of the trailer. You can see we've got the clearance lights on. Looking nice. By the way, those are, I don't know if it makes me happy or not, but they're kind of like one of the big indulgences on this trailer. I know what a clearance light is worth, but I had to bring those in out of the States to get that style of light that matches the trailer. And they were close to 40 bucks a piece. And there's the porch light. It's hooked up and working. Got a nice interior switch on it. The original trailer didn't have a porch light, so it's kind of nice. Oh, the original trailer didn't have a 110 volt plug-in either on the exterior, so added lots of stuff. And she is starting to look like a trailer. Love it. Got the baggage doors put on both sides, and Now, there's the other one. I was gonna start putting some windows in, but I'm not overly happy with the polishing job with the polish I had. So I ordered some different stuff that sounds like it's gonna do a better job. So I'm gonna start putting the entry door together. Yeah, when I took it apart, it seemed so simple. Well, we'll see what we end up with. And then I gotta do things like make this pretty, because that is going on with all the new skin. So, well, thank you for watching the video. As you can see, we got quite a bit done, and you can also tell I was a little frustrated with electric shears, and quite excited about the clearance lights. So, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one when we make some more progress. Take care.